What's up, guys? My name is Brice Shirbach, and this is another episode of Mountain Bikers Riding Bikes, talking about trails. Today, I'm actually talking to you from the southern shores of the Puget Sound here in Washington State, and about 25 miles to my west on the other side of the capital city of Olympia is Capitol Forest. Capitol Forest is a 110,000 acre parcel of DNR land, which is the largest of its kind in the state of Washington, and the Trail Association responsible for the stewardship and advocacy of trails throughout Capitol Forest is the appropriately named Friends of Capitol Forest. Today we're going to be exploring a couple of trails on the North Slope section of Capitol Forest, which is really kind of the shuttleable downhill enduro style riding that you can find at Capitol Forest. And really the history of the North Slope is more than we can unpack right now, but it started like a lot of really good downhill shuttleable trails as a rogue operation. But FOCF, the original trail builders of the North Slope, everybody over time did manage to kind of come together and bridge the divide that existed. And now the North Slope Trails is a fully legalized part of the Capitol Forest Trail Network. They remain rowdy, oftentimes steep, really awesome features, very sort of purpose-built for descending, and it's been a blast exploring these trails. There's a few locals that we get to follow down the trails today. Kevin Kelly is the recreation tech at the DNR. Kat Parks is the communications and membership director for FOCF, and Ryan McCord, who is the FOCF board president. There were a few people who weren't able to make it, but are definitely integral to sort of the success and the integration of the North Slope Trails into the Capitol Forest Network. Andrew Claiborne is the downhill trail lead for FOCF, and Bill Ryan is the North Slope Trail lead for Friends of Capitol Forest. Both of those guys are integral to the success of the North Slope Trails. Unfortunately, they weren't able to make it today, but we do have the three people that we're going to be following and chatting with, so let's go. All right, so this is the start of like the new Living the Dream, right?
Right. This is
Where the old continues down to a crossing where Stormy is, right?
Stormy, and then Stormy has a split, and then you have Stormy on the right,
To the right.
Finger on the left.
Yeah, okay.
So the whole reason for this being was that Stormy can be a little too technical for the people who are looking for a flow trail, as LTD is up from the beginning.
Yeah.
So the ask from my team was to build something that was more consistent with the flow trail to get people down. And the example was my boss has a 14-year-old, and they loved the trail the way it was, but just didn't enjoy hitting Stormy after having a good time. What can we do just to make it consistent with the upper part of the trail?
Do you mind if I just interject one? I know the other part too is like some people were able to ride LTD and they couldn't ride Stormy, so then they take the road and do lower Scobie. So the other cool thing about this is that it takes away some of the bike traffic on the road.
Downhill bike traffic on the road, especially, yeah.
Yep, keeps people off the road. So that was the basic idea. I took it. I tried to take all the measurements of the berms and stuff out there and then deal with them. I tried to apply it on the same one. But what I also saw was, for good or for bad, I saw the opportunity to build some super steep berms and things like that. So I took advantage of the opportunity to build something crazy. I know when you build things like that, I go to Whistler all the time. The second you see a good big steep berm, you just know it's going to be brake bumps the month after you're done building it. But hey, we'll live with that part. Just have something a little bit different, but still flowing.
Yeah.
That was the idea. Yeah. What happened here? One of those things, you just walk through a forest and you start looking for directions and trying to see if you can do something without making it too steep. But we saw this great little chute leading here, and so we went through a couple of iterations of building this next berm. Because it's a 180, it's just so hard to match it up with the speed that people are going to approach it at. And so I had that problem where it was just too small, and so I just kept working on it. And I said earlier to other people, the first goal is to build a trail end to end. Just get the trail done and build those features or ideas that you have. And then when they don't work out, come back and fix those spots that people are having trouble with. And so that's what I really focus on doing. Get the trail done, get it built, let people ride it, see where the blue groove happens and see where people are going. Close up the trail even more where it works and fix it where it's not working. And so that's what happened here. I had the turn, it just turned like a 90-degree down, and people just weren't making it. So what do? I look around and I say, yeah, we can make a counter berm, sweep uphill quite a bit more, and then try to make a larger radius for this next berm. So it's starting to work out finally, but it probably took 3 attempts at getting here, right? First it was 90 degree, next it was what it looks like now, but it just wasn't as large and as hard packed and finished as it is now. But now we've got a berm wall that goes all the way to the bottom. People are staying inside of it and flying out of it at the end, things like that. It takes work.
You trying to keep people on the trail?
I know.
Oh,
You never get it right
crazy
until it works. So, yeah, that's what happened. So, what I also learned from the upper section LTD, like I say, trying to get at least for the same type of user, right? This is an easy intermediate trail. So, same thing. One of the features I like about the upper LTD trail is they've got a bunch of these uphill turns into a berm. So I try to keep doing the same thing. They're a lot of fun, right? You start to lose your, hopefully some people get that 0G feeling by the time they're here, right? They've almost stopped and now they can just accelerate all the way down the whole turn. And same thing, right? You got that 0G feeling here, and now all of a sudden you feel like mega G is just hitting into the wall. And as long as you've got a good wall to let you finish the turn, it's just an awesome feeling to change that gravity feeling between each. So, yeah, that worked out, and we're pretty happy now. But.
And I like that you have a real like purpose-built, almost like a manicured feature, but you allow, like, you still make people mountain bike coming out of the exit with a little bit of like a natural chicane there, and like, it's bumpy. Yeah, it's sick. It's really nice. Yeah. You're still mountain biking. You're not just like right.
So, and that's the difference. That's a big difference, right? That first section I did was all machine, just a single person in a machine, and as much flow as you can build into it. Just can't match some of that. Just dig in the dirt and get down to the dirt and let it be a natural trail.
Yeah.
Include the roots instead of pulling them out. The excavator just touches them and pulls them. With the rogue hoe, you just go there, get around those roots, fill them back in, and you got a beautiful trail. So, yeah, definitely the goal here.
That's what I love about this trail. It's like leave the technical features in. It's an intermediate trail, but you leave the roots in, and some narrow sections between trees, but it still has the nice catch berm. So.
Yeah, your corridor width is not too wide, which is nice. Like, I think that's I just think it can be like a pitfall that sometimes with like new trails you get a little too purpose-built happy, and then it becomes like a 10-foot wide corridor. And you have to like kind of wait over time for the forest to kind of maybe reclaim it, versus just like, hey, let's like keep it more narrow, and then we can kind of clear cut as needed. But like you right away, you start with a new trail that feels right versus like feeling like you're at a bike park.
Okay, we're having a problem with people shooting up our signs all the time. The signs would get shot up and we'd have to replace them, or DNR didn't have the money to replace them. And so about 5 years ago, we figured out if you put American flags on your sign, people don't shoot them up. And it's worked ever since. So in this zone, the North Slope, where we have these American flag signs, I don't think we've had one sign shot up.